So there was one recently. In fact, there were two recently that come to mind. One had to do with water intrusion into a basement. Now, the basement was fully finished, and in fact, we had members of the family living there full time, and they'd been there for a very long time. I believe 30 years, maybe 30 plus years. Uh, Recently, Hurricane Helene came through the Georgia area and dumped a lot of rain. The Atlanta, Georgia area had 10, 12, 14 inches of rain in some spots. This was in an area where there was upwards of 11 inches of rain. Um, and after the rain had passed, after the third day of rain had passed and we had 11 inches of rain, it was that evening that they noticed that the carpet was wet. They got up in the middle of the night, the carpet was wet, and soon the carpet in the entire downstairs was wet. So water was coming somewhere, and they had to get all the water out of that basement. And they did not have the benefit of a remediation company, so they did it with a 16-gallon shop vac, and they emptied it, I don't know, 30 times or so. And the question is, where is this water coming from? Now, they have lived in this house for a long time, and it's never happened before, and it happened now. And why did that happen? That's a tough question. So you have to know where the water came from and where it's going. You have to understand a little bit about houses are constructed here in Georgia, where it is, and in order to make a determination. So we were pretty sure we knew where the water was coming from based upon the occupants' testimony about where it started and where it progressed to. So we knew it was from, and we could see the outside of that part of the building pretty well. The inside was covered with wall finishes, so we couldn't see much, but we cut some holes and were able to look at some of the structure in there. And the other thing that was important is that side of the house, now this is a basement that comes to daylight. It's a walkout basement or a daylight basement. People call it different things. But that kind of a house should have a perimeter drain around the entire foundation so that any water that comes down the foundation wall to the footing would flow into the drain and flow out to daylight. Well, we could not find that drain on that side of the house. It was either not there or it was clogged and buried. So any water that got down there could not come out the drain, and it had to go somewhere, and it's not going to go up. So it's going to go inside. And my determination was that it did go inside. Information that helped that determination was the holes that we cut in the drywall in that corner, and we could see that there was evidence of long-term water there. And in fact, one of the wooden studs for the finished wall there had some serious wood decay. And that's only going to happen if it has repeated long-term exposure to moisture. So to say that this had never occurred before, it's not quite correct. It had occurred before, but on a much briefer, smaller scale, and certainly not enough to get the entire basement wet. So in my opinion, it was groundwater that was coming in and had done so many times, and they needed to take a look at the drain and maybe the waterproofing, damp proofing of the foundation. So that's the most exciting one, recent memory.